So first and foremost, I appreciate, I appreciate why you're here. I understand, why you're classifying it as a problem. It is a challenge for sure. It is a complicated, it's a complicated market dynamic where there's a lot of demand for power at a time when legacy utilities are frankly unable to serve the demand and really like deliver a satisfactory customer experience to the customers. And so really what we're in is we're in a time of flux. We're in a time of drastic change. And that doesn't necessarily, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, in my opinion, I think that the dynamics that exist today are creating an environment where there can be a lot of positive change really, really fast. And it does not have to be all bad news for the legacy utilities. In fact, it should not be. It's really important that businesses like ours actually develop good working relationships with utilities because in the long term, we're going to need power from a lot of different sources, a lot of different types of resources. That includes private power developers like us, but it also includes legacy utilities.
Yeah.
And over the long term, it's really important that we work well together. Today, there are environments where utilities are trying to protect their turf and they're trying to keep private developers like us out. However, it's actually impossible for utilities to keep us out, completely. And the reason why that is the case is that every single state, and every single, public state utility body, governing body, will have its own set of kind of regulations in that state that allow for the self-use. It essentially creates something called a self-use exemption. Um, and the wording will be different in the South Carolina's, public utility guidelines or regulations, but the meaning will essentially be the same. And what the intent of those regulations is, it says that a company create or can do whatever it has to do to manufacture power for itself if it wants to, even in a regulated utility district where a local utility has a monopoly over providing power as a public service.